Chapter 4. The Quest for Truth. The soft patter of rain faded into a rhythmic whisper as Joshua stood facing James, the man in the red beanie. The street was cast in shadows, with flickering streetlights barely illuminating the tension buzzing between them. "All right, let's talk about Mia," Joshua said, leaning forward, eager for answers. James crossed his arms, a calculating glint in his eye. "Not so fast, my friend. Information doesn't come cheap. You don't just take. I'm going to send you on a little treasure hunt." "A treasure hunt?" Joshua echoed, disbelief mingling with intrigue. "I need answers, not riddles. What's life without a little challenge?" James shrugged, a smirk playing on his lips. "Here's the deal. I'll give you a clue, and you follow it to your next hint. But no straight answers. Got to keep things spicy." He leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Considering your friend might need a little rescuing, time is of the essence." Joshua's heart raced at the mention of Clara. "What do you mean? Is she okay?" James nodded, a sinister smile creeping across his face. "She's fine, for now. But you'll need to hurry if you want to keep it that way. Here's your first clue." He flourished a piece of crumpled paper from his pocket, handing it to Joshua. "A whisper in the wind, where shadows flicker and secrets are shared. Find the old clock tower where time stands still and note the chime. It's there the first stone is hidden." "A clock tower?" Joshua furrowed his brow, already calculating the distance he'd need to travel. "Time stands still. What does that even mean?" James chuckled. "That's for you to figure out. Oh, and one more thing, you might want to keep a low profile. I get the impression there's a cop involved in this already. Just a hunch I picked up during my observations." "Why are you telling me this?" Joshua asked, puzzled. "Hey, a riddle can only be solved in the right light," James said cryptically, tilting his head as if gauging Joshua's reaction. "Now go on. The clock is ticking." Without another word, Joshua pocketed the note and set off, urgency propelling him forward. The rain had slackened, but the chill in the air settled deep into his bones as he made his way through the winding streets, his mind racing with thoughts of Clara. He couldn't let anything happen to her. Meanwhile, Clara awoke in a dimly lit, isolated room, the harsh glare of fluorescent lights stinging her eyes. Confusion gripped her as she attempted to orient herself. The metallic taste of fear filled her mouth as she twisted her wrists, feeling the cold shackles bite sharply into her skin. Panic surged within her as she yanked at the restraints, realizing they were unyielding. Where was Joshua? Fear gripped her as memories of their last conversation flooded her mind. Their urgent plan to find the missing girls, and now, their roles had flipped. She was now the one in danger. The echo of distant voices made her heart race, the steady thud of approaching footsteps amplifying her dread. In the shadows, a figure emerged. Someone familiar, yet utterly menacing. It was one of the men from the club, the dark-haired guy Margot had mentioned, his presence sending an icy chill down her spine. "Welcome back to the land of the living," he said, a sinister grin stretching across his face. "We've been waiting for you. What do you want from me?" Clara's voice trembled, as she fought to keep her tone steady, a flicker of defiance sparking within her. "Oh, we're not the ones holding the cards here," he replied nonchalantly, his tone taunting. "You're simply a pawn in a much bigger game." Back on the streets, Joshua arrived at the only old clock tower in town he knew of, its weathered stone facade looming before him like a sentinel of forgotten time. The clock's hands were frozen at 3 o'clock, an hour trapped in suspension. "Time stands still," he exclaimed, scanning the area for anything that stood out. The thick air was heavy with the scent of moss and mildew, and the soft tapping of raindrops on the stone pattered eerily. Rounding the building, he spotted something gleaming amidst the rubble. He knelt down, brushing aside layers of dirt and debris to reveal a small metal box. Inside lay a silver locket, delicate and tarnished, with a photo tucked inside. It was a picture of Mia, but more importantly, a clue. A note attached read, "Find the garden, where the roses bloom under the moonlight." Roses! Joshua whispered to himself, his heart pounding as he clutched the locket. He had no time to lose. He needed to find the next location quickly. With Clara's safety hanging in the balance, he set off toward the garden, his mind racing with the urgency of the puzzle unfolding before him. Within the confines of the isolated room, Clara struggled against the shackles, determination burning within her. She had to believe Joshua would come. With each moment of silence, however, the mounting fear crept back in, whispering doubts that twisted around her heart like a dark vine. "Stay strong, Clara," she whispered to herself, her resolve steeling as she waited for the next stage of this deadly game.